and welcome back to my channel. My name is Max, and today we're doing Draw My Life. Starting off the story, I was born in the year 1990. That's me. I was just a little old baby. So, I was the first of 4 children. My mom, at the time, worked in an office as a secretary, and my dad worked for my uncle as a shower door installer. And I was just a little kid. I was the first kid in that family. So, we grew up in a house in Connecticut, and I had 3 siblings. In 1993, my brother was born, and then in 1996, there was twins, a boy and a girl. So I now had 2 brothers and a sister. So at this point, we've been living in the same house for 6 years. And then we grew up in the 90s as 90 kids, playing things like video games, such as Mario. I tried to draw Yoshi, but I'm not the greatest, so sorry. We would watch 90s cartoons. Here's my attempt at a Batman. And this is a really bad SpongeBob. I can do SpongeBob better. I was just in a rush, so trust me. Don't look at that SpongeBob, I'm sorry. And yeah, I had to think really hard about what else I wanted to define as a 90s kid thing, but I settled on toys because I really loved the toys from when I was a kid, such as Power Rangers and TMNT. A lot of these toys were hand-me-downs, such as at my preschool, I would play with a Optimus Prime Transformer from the 80s and stuff, so toys were a big thing in the 90s. Alright. So we were in a small house, and the year was 1996. And then we moved into a nice big house, 1997. Unfortunately, this means the bills went up significantly. So this caused friction with my parents, and they would start arguing about money. Lots of fighting, which would eventually lead to a divorce. The year is 1999, and now my dad, who had no lawyer, has no kids because he has lost it and he lives all alone in Connecticut. My mom takes us, and we all move from Connecticut to Maryland. This makes me really sad. It sounds like I'm making fun of it, but it was a hard time for everybody. So my dad stayed in Connecticut. Me and my siblings and my mom went to Maryland, and in this new place I had no friends and I had no dad, and the only thing I really had was Pokemon, because at the time I was playing Pokemon nonstop to distract myself from how sad I was. So the year is 2001, and then my mom gets remarried. Let's see. At this point, I am pretty depressed. I am in middle school, and so for an entire year, I do no homework whatsoever. It's not like a protest. It's more of a I'm just sad. This would end up causing me to fail the 6th grade. And a few times after this, my stepdad would beat me. Again, it sounds like I'm laughing at it, but it was fairly traumatic. So I'm okay now, but that's what therapy's for. My parents would then make me go to summer school and repeat the 6th grade. So this would cause me to go into a major depression. But as a kid, I didn't really understand any of this. I just felt really bad all the time. So I think that's pretty normal, especially for kids of divorce. So next we moved in the year 2003 to Kentucky. I'm still sad most of the time, but at this point I'm staying up all night playing Halo. Halo 2 has come out, and all I really do is play Xbox all the time. My parents would hide my Xbox from me, especially when my grades started doing bad, but I would always find it and play Xbox all night. At this point, I would develop insomnia and stay up all hours even when I wasn't playing Halo, so I would sleep during the day and stay up at night. We were only in Kentucky for 2 years. So yeah, I was pretty much sad, but video games distracted me, and I'm very appreciative to video games, Pokemon and Halo. Alright, so the year's 2005 to 2009, and now I'm in high school. We have moved to New Hampshire. I make some good friends here for once, and I get my first girlfriends in sophomore and junior year. So, at this point, I learned to drive when I'm about 16. Then I smoke something for the first time. Eventually my parents find out, and this causes a fight. So in 2008, I am actually 18 because I failed the 6th grade. So at this point I can move out. So I moved out before I finished high school. Me at 18, free at last, I go to live with my real dad in Connecticut for 1 year. In 2009, I moved back to New Hampshire to live with my girlfriend at the time. So 2008, leave New Hampshire. 2009, go back. At this point, I worked the same job that I had during high school, which was a burrito job, which I worked at until 2010. So the job was kind of like Chipotle. After that, I would work at a diner, but a hurricane, I think it was Hurricane Sandy, causes me to lose my job because the road the diner's on gets messed up. So the diner shut down. In 2012, I go through a really bad breakup. My girlfriend of 3 years. At this point, I decided to move to Austin, Texas, because I had some friends who were moving there. So we moved there as a group, and it was great. Never mind. All 3 friends moved back. So now I am in Austin by myself. All alone. The year is 2013, and I get a dog. I work at an old folks' home in North Austin. I live all alone in a 1-bedroom apartment in North Austin. I have no car. If you don't know, it's very hard to get around Texas without a car. Then in 2014, I moved to the east side of Austin with some friends, downtown. It is expensive rent, $1,500 a month. Eventually, my roommates would leave over and over again. This would cause me to go into alcohol and drugs because I worked in the service industry at a bar. So during this time, 2015 to 2016, I start getting into alcohol and hard drugs. I get kicked out of my new apartment that I had just moved into because of a drunken mess. Because of the same fight, I also lose my job. I eventually moved in with my drug dealer. That was a really bad idea, and it ends up being a bad time if you can't tell. The drug dealer I moved in with is crazy. So in 2016 to 2017, I'm living with my drug dealer. I'm drunk, and doing drugs a lot. 2018, I decided to get sober. So I have decided to move near Chicago, Illinois, to get clean. I end up relapsing pretty much as soon as I arrive, and I break my clavicle, my shoulder bone. Snap! Sorry, I'm supposed to be quiet, I'm sorry. So I broke my collarbone, and then in 2018 of May, I decided to be sober, and from then on, I mostly was. 2018, I start working at Best Buy. I am sober for 3 years. I also work at Best Buy for 3 years. Then, March 2020 happens, and we decide to go to Japan. Me and 2 friends. First time in Japan was actually in 2016 to visit my friend Josh. This was my second time, and I was going with my friends. Halfway through, COVID hits, and then the plane is canceled, and we all start to panic. So I call home, and we had to get a new flight. So halfway through, my second trip to Japan was very scary, and now we come back, and it's COVID. Because I flew internationally, my job asked me to stay home for 3 months, just in case. I'm paid the whole time. At this point, I go back to work during the pandemic at Best Buy from May 2020 to February 2021, where they do a massive round of layoffs, and I lose my job, which causes me to drink again. So, the year's 2022, and I have a girlfriend. And then in 2023, we have been dating. I spent a lot of money to go see her in Ohio, but eventually we break up. This causes me to spiral into major depression. I am sad. Again, it seems funny now in retrospect, but at the time I was going through a hard time. So in 2023, I'm having some bad thoughts, if you know what I mean. So I decide to go to therapy. I get on medications after I get a diagnosis. Turns out I have PTSD, depression, and anxiety. The PTSD is mostly from interactions with my stepdad. At this point, I have a warehouse job, and it has good insurance. So in 2024, I decided to get sober again. In 2023, October was the last time I drank. Also, I finally went to a dentist and got my teeth fixed. I thought it would cost a lot of money, and I had anxiety, but when I went, it wasn't that bad. So, if you are worried about your dental situation, I recommend going and speaking to a dentist. In 2025, I quit my job in the warehouse. My bosses had been messing around with my schedule, and I just wasn't enjoying that job anymore. At this point, I decided to move home to Connecticut. I've decided to go back to school. At this point, I'm once again staying with my dad, and I am hopeful for the future because I would like to learn Japanese, and then I would like to move abroad ideally to Japan, but who knows? This is my 5 to 10 year plan. It's good because I used to only think about being dead, but now I am sober, I have goals, I'm on medication, and I'm near my family. Don't hurt yourself. Love yourself, okay? If I can make it, you can too. And we can all be happy one day. Also, I would like to say free Palestine. And honestly, free us all. Thanks for watching. I appreciate and love you all.